It's only the third time that we've actually detected an object that has come from beyond our solar system.
For centuries, humanity has believed Earth was never visited by beings beyond our world. Yet a Harvard professor's revelation about ʻOumuamua could be the first true indication that we may not be alone in the universe. What you're about to learn challenges everything we thought we knew about our place in existence. Stay tuned, because this discovery might forever change how we see ourselves and the cosmos around us. The cosmic mystery that started it all. It's October 2017. Astronomers at the Pan-STARRS telescope in Hawaii are doing their regular sweep of the sky when something absolutely mind-blowing appears on their screens. An object unlike anything they've ever seen before is racing through our solar system at incredible speeds. They named it ʻOumuamua, which means scout in Hawaiian. And boy, was that name more accurate than they could have ever imagined. ʻOumuamua was shaped like a giant cigar, roughly 400 meters long, but only 40 meters wide. That's like a cosmic skyscraper tumbling through space. But here's where things get really weird. It wasn't behaving like any asteroid or comet we'd ever encountered. ʻOumuamua's speed and trajectory revealed that it was just passing through the sun. It entered from interstellar space and then shot back out, never to return. It was the first confirmed interstellar visitor in recorded human history. But that was just the beginning of the mystery. As scientists tracked Oumuamua's journey through our solar system, they noticed something that made their jaws drop. This object was accelerating away from the sun in ways that completely defied our understanding of physics. When objects get close to the sun, they should speed up due to gravitational pull, then slow down as they move away. It's basic orbital mechanics, stuff we've understood for centuries. But Oumuamua? It was doing its own thing entirely. The object was picking up speed as it moved away from the sun, as if something was giving it an extra push. Scientists were scratching their heads, trying to come up with explanations. Maybe it was outgassing like a comet, but there was no visible tail or coma, the telltale signs of a comet releasing material. Maybe it was made of some exotic material we'd never encountered, or perhaps our instruments were wrong. Every conventional explanation seemed to fall short. That's when Harvard's Avi Loeb stepped into the spotlight with a theory that would make him the most talked about and most controversial scientist in the world. The Harvard rebel who dared to think different. Meet Dr. Abraham Avi Loeb, the longest-serving chair of astronomy at Harvard University. We're talking about a man who has published over 800 scientific papers and advised countless PhD students. His credentials are absolutely stellar. By now, my skin has turned into titanium, he says, when asked about dealing with criticism. And trust me, he's faced plenty of it. In 2018, Loeb co-authored a paper that sent the scientific community into an absolute frenzy. His hypothesis? Oumuamua might be artificial, possibly a piece of alien technology. Harvard University professor Abraham Avi Loeb suggested that the mysterious interstellar visitor could be an alien probe, a theory that immediately captured global attention but also made him a target for criticism from his peers. But Loeb didn't back down. Instead, he doubled down with a compelling argument that's hard to ignore. Loeb's theory was based on careful analysis of Oumuamua's bizarre behavior. He proposed that the object could be a light sail, an incredibly thin sheet of artificial material designed to be pushed by stellar radiation, much like how solar panels capture sunlight. Think about it. If you wanted to send a probe to explore other star systems, wouldn't a light sail be the perfect technology? It requires no fuel, can travel for millions of years, and could use the pressure from starlight to navigate between worlds. The more Loeb examined the data, the more convinced he became. Oumuamua's unusual elongated shape, its strange acceleration, and its tumbling motion through space, everything seemed to fit the profile of an artificial object rather than a natural one. But here's where it gets even more interesting.
It moved too fast to be bound to the sun. Very first object that we have found coming to us from interstellar space, from other...
Loeb was calling out his fellow scientists for what he saw as close-minded thinking. Too many scientists are now mostly motivated by ego, by getting honors and awards, by showing their colleagues how smart they are, Loeb stated in a recent Scientific American interview. He believes the scientific community has become too conservative, too afraid to consider possibilities that might challenge conventional wisdom. As you can imagine, Loeb's alien probe theory didn't go over well with his colleagues. The scientific establishment pushed back hard, offering alternative explanations for Oumuamua's weird behavior. Some scientists suggested it was a hydrogen iceberg, a chunk of frozen hydrogen that was sublimating as it got closer to the sun, creating the mysterious acceleration. Others proposed it was a fragment of a larger object that had been shattered by tidal forces, but Loeb wasn't buying it. He argued that these explanations were even more far-fetched than his alien technology hypothesis. A hydrogen iceberg in interstellar space. The conditions required for such an object to survive the journey between star systems seemed almost impossible. This is where things get really juicy. Some people are whispering that there might be more to this story than meets the eye. What if there are powerful interests that don't want the public to know the truth about Oumuamua? What if the pushback against Loeb's theory is something more deliberate? Now, I'm not saying there's a conspiracy here, but it does make you wonder, doesn't it? The latest bombshell revelations. Fast forward to 2024 and 2025, and Loeb is still making waves. He's been writing extensively about Oumuamua's family, other similar objects that might be lurking in our solar system or have already passed through undetected. Starting in 2025, the Rubin Observatory in Chile will survey the southern sky every 4 days with a 3.2 gigapixel camera. This survey will enable the discovery of many new family members of Oumuamua, Loeb recently wrote. But that's not all. Remember how I mentioned at the beginning that this story was about to get even more incredible? Well, here's the kicker. A new notice on 2nd of July 2025 by the Minor Planet Center, which labels the object as 3I Atlas, officially interstellar, suggests we might have another Oumuamua-like visitor.
3I Atlas was discovered on July 1st by the NASA-funded Discovery using their telescope at Rio Hurtado in Chile.
That's right, we're not alone. Oumuamua might have been just the first in a series of mysterious interstellar objects paying us a visit. Loeb has been actively looking for them. He launched something called the Galileo Project, a scientific initiative dedicated to searching for evidence of extraterrestrial technology. The project uses advanced telescopes and AI to scan the skies for unusual objects that might be artificial in origin. It's like SETI, but instead of listening for radio signals, they're looking for physical evidence of alien technology. The Galileo Project is also investigating unidentified aerial phenomena, UAPs, that have been reported by military personnel and civilians. Could some of these mysterious objects be related to whatever Oumuamua was?
What we're seeing, of course, we're talking UFOs again, or unidentified anomalous phenomenon as the government calls.
Let us be honest, there are objects in the sky that we do not understand, Loeb wrote recently. When we do not understand what 85% of the matter in the universe is, we invest billions of dollars to find out the nature of that dark matter. His point is simple but powerful. If we're willing to spend billions searching for dark matter, why aren't we more open to the possibility that some unexplained objects might be of artificial origin? Avi Loeb's latest work has stirred intense debate because he's begun analyzing what he calls interstellar meteors, objects that have entered Earth's atmosphere but may have originated from outside our solar system. Some of these fragments, he argues, display material properties unlike anything naturally occurring in space, raising the possibility that they could be pieces of advanced technology. To test this, Loeb is planning expeditions to recover these materials from the ocean floor, with the potential to uncover evidence of artificial origins. If such findings are confirmed, it would upend our understanding of the universe and prove that we are not alone, not even within our own cosmic neighborhood. The implications are staggering. If advanced civilizations are sending probes across the stars, they are already far ahead of humanity in mastering interstellar travel. This raises profound questions. Are we being studied? Have we been watched throughout history? Could other probes already be here, hidden and undetected? While some find the idea frightening, Loeb views it as humanity's greatest opportunity. Contact with a more advanced civilization could grant us access to knowledge and technology beyond our imagination, forever changing our place in the cosmos. The scientific revolution Loeb is leading. Avi Loeb's work is groundbreaking because it challenges how science approaches unexplained phenomena, urging openness to extraordinary possibilities rather than dismissing them through groupthink. He argues that if life, intelligence, and technology exist here on Earth, it's not unreasonable to consider they could exist elsewhere in more advanced forms. For Loeb, rejecting the idea that ʻOumuamua might be artificial requires equally strong evidence supporting alternative explanations.
ʻOumuamua, this strange object that was discovered 2017.
His bold stance has sparked a new wave of research, pushing scientists to re-examine mysterious objects in our solar system with fresh eyes and less bias. With advances in telescopes, AI, and data analysis, we're now better equipped than ever to study these interstellar visitors before they vanish. Excitingly, some researchers speculate that ʻOumuamua itself, or others like it, could return as early as 2024, hinting that this debate is far from over. While not yet confirmed, the possibility of future encounters keeps alive the prospect of a paradigm-shifting discovery. Let's get real for a moment. If Loeb's theories prove correct, this would be the most important event in human history, the confirmation that we're not alone, that advanced civilizations exist and are aware of us, would fundamentally change everything. Religion, philosophy, politics, technology, every aspect of human civilization would need to be reconsidered in light of this new reality. We'd have to grapple with questions we've never seriously considered. What do these beings want? Why are they studying us? What can we learn from them? But there's another possibility that Loeb has hinted at, one that's even more intriguing. What if these aren't just random visitors? What if they're part of some kind of systematic exploration program? What if our solar system is just one stop on a much larger survey mission? The implications are staggering. We might be living in a universe that's much more connected, much more alive with intelligence than we ever imagined. The critics and the controversy. Of course, not everyone is buying what Loeb is selling. Many of his colleagues continue to insist that ʻOumuamua was just a weird-shaped asteroid or comet, and that all this talk about alien technology is premature at best and irresponsible at worst. They argue that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and that the evidence for ʻOumuamua being artificial just isn't there yet. They point to alternative explanations for its unusual behavior and suggest that Loeb is letting his imagination run away with the facts.
For evidence of extraterrestrial technological civilizations. Welcome, Avi Loeb.
But here's what's interesting. Even Loeb's harshest critics admit that ʻOumuamua was unlike anything we've seen before. They acknowledge that its behavior was genuinely puzzling and that our current models of solar system objects don't fully explain what we observed. So even if you don't buy the alien probe theory, you have to admit that ʻOumuamua has forced us to expand our understanding of what's possible in space. And isn't that what good science is supposed to do? Here's the thing about scientific controversies. Eventually, the data wins. And the data about ʻOumuamua is really hard to explain away with conventional theories. Let's review what we know for certain. ʻOumuamua was extremely elongated, much more so than any natural object we've ever seen. It accelerated away from the sun without showing any signs of outgassing. It tumbled in a complex pattern that suggested it wasn't a simple homogeneous object, and it appeared to be much more reflective than typical asteroids or comets. Each of these characteristics, taken individually, might have a conventional explanation, but taken together, they paint a picture of something that doesn't fit neatly into our existing categories of space objects. Loeb's genius has been to point out that all of these characteristics would make perfect sense if ʻOumuamua were an artificial light sail. The elongated shape would maximize surface area for catching stellar radiation. The unusual acceleration could be explained by radiation pressure. The tumbling motion might result from the complex forces acting on a thin, artificial structure. Is this proof that ʻOumuamua was alien technology? No, but it's compelling circumstantial evidence that shouldn't be dismissed out of hand. The bigger picture. The ʻOumuamua controversy is about rethinking how we search for extraterrestrial intelligence. For decades, SETI has focused on radio signals and distant planets, but Avi Loeb argues the real evidence might already be in our solar system.
That's when I got the phone call that all solar system astronomers are waiting for.
Disguised as unusual interstellar visitors, this shift calls for a more active approach. Instead of only listening for messages, scientists should investigate objects that defy natural explanations. What makes this especially exciting is that the tools to do so already exist. Next-generation telescopes like James Webb, extremely large telescopes, and advances in AI are giving us unprecedented power to analyze distant objects and detect anomalies. Meanwhile, projects like Breakthrough Starshot hint at the possibility of actually sending probes to intercept these mysteries. Together, these breakthroughs signal the dawn of a new era in our search, one where the detection of artificial objects in space may be closer than ever. All of this leads to some pretty profound questions that are keeping scientists, and probably a lot of other people, up at night. If Oumuamua was indeed artificial, where did it come from? What civilizations sent it? What was its mission? And perhaps most importantly, are there more where that came from? Starting in 2025, the Rubin Observatory in Chile will survey the southern sky every 4 days with a 3.2 gigapixel camera. This survey will enable the discovery of many new family members of Oumuamua, suggesting that we might soon have answers to some of these questions. But even if we do find more Oumuamua-like objects, that might raise even more questions. Are they all from the same civilization? Are they part of a coordinated exploration program? Are they monitoring our development as a technological species? These questions touch on some of the deepest issues in astrobiology and SETI research. They force us to confront the possibility that we're not just searching for life in the universe, we might be the subjects of that search ourselves. Throughout all of this controversy, it's worth remembering that Avi Loeb has put his reputation on the line for what he believes is good science. As one of Harvard's most distinguished astronomers, he could have easily stayed within the bounds of conventional research and continued to build an already impressive career. Instead, he chose to follow the data wherever it led, even when it led to conclusions that made his colleagues uncomfortable. When asked how he deals with criticism, Loeb said that, "By now, my skin has turned into titanium." This kind of intellectual courage is rare in any field, but especially in science, where careers can be made or broken by peer review and academic politics. Loeb's willingness to challenge orthodoxy, even at personal cost, represents the best traditions of scientific inquiry. Whether he's ultimately proven right or wrong about Oumuamua, his approach to the question, following the evidence rather than the consensus, is exactly what science needs more of. Why this revolution matter to us? The arrival of Oumuamua in 2017.
So in 2017, the reason I entered this subject, previously I worked on
was more than just a scientific curiosity. It was a monumental event that raised the stakes on the question of humanity's place in the cosmos. This strange, cigar-shaped object came from interstellar space and made its brief but profound pass through our solar system.
At a steep angle and aimed towards the inner solar system.
It didn't behave like any comet or asteroid we had previously observed, sparking immediate curiosity and concern. If it was simply a natural object, then the search for extraterrestrial life might be more elusive than we ever thought. But what if Oumuamua was more than just an ordinary object? What if it was evidence of something far more profound, something that could challenge everything we know about our place in the universe? The debate over what Oumuamua truly was has captured the attention of scientists, the media, and the public alike. Some believe it's just a rock, a leftover relic from the formation of a distant star system. Others, like Harvard's Avi Loeb, have suggested that Oumuamua could be the first tangible evidence of extraterrestrial technology. Loeb's argument is not based on mere speculation, but on a detailed analysis of the object's behavior that defied conventional explanations. In particular, the rapid acceleration of Oumuamua as it passed through our solar system could not be fully explained by the gravitational influence of the sun, which led Loeb to propose that the object might be propelled by some form of artificial technology. This is not a fringe theory, but an idea that Loeb has pushed into the scientific mainstream. His work calls into question the way we approach space exploration and our search for extraterrestrial intelligence. He argues that, with the technology available today, we have the tools to investigate interstellar objects, like ʻOumuamua, with seriousness and openness. Whether or not this specific object is artificial is almost secondary to the larger point Loeb makes, that humanity should now consider the possibility of extraterrestrial life as a mainstream scientific inquiry, not just a theoretical speculation. What makes this debate even more critical is that it touches on a fundamental shift in our worldview. In the past, the idea that life could exist beyond Earth was largely a speculative exercise, confined to the realms of science fiction and theoretical physics. Even after decades of research into the possibility of life on other planets, humanity's collective understanding had not progressed far beyond the assumption that we were alone in the universe, or at best, that any extraterrestrial life would be very different from us. Alright, so that's it for this video. And if you want to watch more amazing content like this, check out some of our other videos. Bye!